Today in this homily, I want to comment on the first reading. And the first reading is truly mind-blowing. God is talking to Assyria, who was a pagan nation and a pagan civilization. And God is saying, and this is very hard to understand, He's saying, I used Assyria to invade Israel, specifically Judah. And I say it's mind-blowing because God is saying, I am using a pagan nation to invade the territory of the chosen nation. This is very strange. But not only does God use this pagan nation to chastise Judah for the lack of faith of his king, but also God is saying that this kingdom of Assyria, they have grown prideful because they think they are achieving their military success not because of God's providence, but because of their own power. And I say this is also strange because Assyria, they weren't believers in God, so why would God intend for them to recognize that He's acting through them? So although this reading is very, let's say, strange, I think there are very good lessons that we could take for our own life. The first lesson I think is very useful now that we're coming closer to the elections and many people are starting to get unsettled. The first thing we have to recognize is the history of nations and of cultures and of civilizations. Everything is part of God's providence. Today we see this in this first reading. God is in charge of history, of nations and civilizations, and of this nation too. So it is my sense that we should never lose peace over what happens in politics. Of course, some things should cause us indignation. And we have to stand for what's right, and we have to oppose what's wrong. But I think we have to do this from a place of peace, knowing that, I insist, the history of the world, of civilizations, of culture, is all led by God's hand in the same way that He led Assyria and Judah. The second lesson that we can draw from today's reading is the following. If God uses a pagan nation to fulfill His intentions and His providence, God also intends to use you and me. Today is a good day to be reminded that God has a providence for our life. And sometimes we think that God has no providence for our life, but He has a providence for each one of our lives. He has a plan for you, and He intends to use you for His own designs. So today when we go to communion, maybe we can say to the Lord, Lord, here I am. If you used Assyria, who was a pagan nation, for your intentions, I want you to know that I'm available for your designs too. So today, brothers and sisters, remember, number one, never lose peace about what happens in politics. Never. Because even though things look unfortunate or adverse, nothing escapes His providential hand. He guided the story of Israel. He also guides the story of the world, of us believers. And second, remember that if He could use a pagan nation to fulfill His designs and His providence, much more He intends to use your life in this particular moment. It's just a matter of making ourselves available to Him one more time.